They didn't miss you. Pause for a second. Really hear that. They didn't miss you. They missed what you were doing for them. And if that stings a little, it's probably because it's true. Not something easy to accept, but something you've probably felt deep down without wanting to admit it. Think about it. Go back to how things used to be. You were the one who checked in first. Are you okay? Did you get home safe? Did you eat? You made it a habit to care, to show up, to make sure they were all right, even on days when you weren't, even when you were tired, even when your own day felt heavy, you still found a way to be there for them. And the truth is, you didn't do it for recognition. You did it because that's just who you are. You give naturally. You care deeply. You show up without needing to be asked twice. But over time, that kind of effort stops looking special to the wrong person. It becomes normal, expected, something they assume will always be there no matter what. They stop noticing the intention behind it. They stop realizing how much of your energy is being poured into them. So when you stopped, that's when everything changed. When you didn't text first, when you didn't check in, when you didn't go out of your way like you used to. Suddenly, they noticed. Suddenly, there was a shift. They reached out more. They tried to reconnect. And for a moment, it felt like maybe they finally saw your value. But look closer, because it didn't happen when you were giving your all. It happened when you pulled your energy back. That's the difference. And it goes deeper than just messages. You were always there to listen. They could call you anytime, talk about their problems, vent for hours, and you stayed. You didn't rush them. You didn't make them feel like a burden. You gave them your full attention, your presence, your energy. You made them feel heard, understood, comfortable. But when it was your turn, when you needed someone to listen, someone to be there for you the same way, suddenly they were busy, suddenly unavailable. The same time you gave so freely was no longer there for you, and you felt it. You noticed the imbalance, but you ignored it, hoping things would change, hoping they would eventually meet you at the same level you were giving. But the truth is, the energy was never equal. You were giving from a genuine place, and they were receiving without truly valuing it. So when you finally pulled back, when you stopped being that constant source of attention, care and support, that's when they came back. Not because they suddenly changed, and not because they deeply missed you as a person, but because they felt the absence of what you used to give. And that realization changes everything. Even the small things, you replying fast, you making time, you adjusting your schedule just to fit them in. It didn't matter what you had going on, you found a way. You answered quickly, not because you were free, but because you cared. You made them feel important, like they mattered, like they had a place in your life that you were willing to protect. You chose them in ways they didn't even notice. You stayed up longer just to talk. You paused what you were doing just to respond. You shifted your plans just to make space for them. And you did it so naturally, so consistently, that it became a part of how they experienced you. At first, it probably felt good to them. It felt comforting, reliable, like no matter what happened, you would be there. But over time, something changed. What you were doing stopped feeling like effort and started feeling normal, expected, something they assumed would always be there. They got used to your presence, used to your consistency, used to the way you showed up without hesitation. And when people get used to something, they stop recognizing the value of it. Not because it isn't valuable, but because it becomes familiar. And familiar things are often taken for granted. So all those small things you were doing, they stopped seeing them as something special. It became routine, just who you are, just what you do. Until one day, you pulled back. You didn't reply as fast. You didn't adjust your time the same way. You stopped making yourself as available as you used to be. Not out of anger, but out of awareness, out of exhaustion, out of realizing that you were giving more than you were receiving. And that's when everything shifted. That's when they noticed. That's when the questions started, the sudden attention, the unexpected messages, the effort that wasn't there before. That's when they came back. But look closely at that moment, because it didn't happen when you were giving your all. It didn't happen when you were constantly showing up. It happened when you stopped, not because they missed you, but because they felt the change. They felt the difference in your energy, the absence of your effort, the silence where your presence used to be so loud. They missed the attention, the quick replies, the way you made them feel seen without them having to ask. They missed the comfort, knowing someone would always be there, someone who listened, who understood, who made things feel easy. They missed having someone who adjusted their world just to fit them in. But that doesn't always mean they missed you. It means they missed what you were giving. Because sometimes people don't realize your value when you're there. They only feel it when you're not. You weren't just a person in their life. You were a convenience they got used to. Someone they could rely on without thinking twice. Someone who made things easier without being asked. You were always there, steady, available, consistent. And over time, that consistency stopped feeling like something valuable to them and started feeling like something guaranteed, something they didn't have to earn. They didn't question it. They didn't reflect on it. They just got comfortable with it. And that's the part that's hard to accept, because you didn't show up halfway. You were real with them. Your care wasn't forced. It wasn't calculated. It came from a genuine place. You gave your time, your attention, your energy without pretending, without holding back. Everything you did was real. But the truth is, not everyone values something just because it's real. Some people only value what they have to work for, what feels uncertain, what isn't always available. And when something is constantly there, constantly giving, constantly showing up, they stop seeing the depth behind it. They stop recognizing the effort, not because it wasn't meaningful, but because they got used to receiving it without thinking. And that's how something genuine turns into something taken for granted. You were offering something real, but they experienced it as something regular. And once that happens, the dynamic shifts, because what you saw as connection, they slowly began to experience as convenience, and realizing that isn't easy, but it's necessary. They didn't miss you. They missed the version of you that was always there, no matter what. The version of you that showed up without hesitation. The one who gave their time freely, who made space no matter how busy life got, who stayed even when it wasn't being returned the same way. The version of you that kept choosing them, even when they weren't choosing you with the same energy. That's the version they felt the absence of. Not your depth, not your heart, not who you truly are, but the access they had to you. And that's why it felt confusing when they came back, because it looked like care, but it felt like need. It sounded like they missed you, but deep down, it didn't feel genuine, because real connection doesn't disappear, and return only when it's convenient. Real care doesn't wait until your energy is gone to suddenly show up. So don't go back to being that version again. Don't go back to overgiving just to feel valued. Don't go back to making yourself constantly available just to keep someone around. Don't go back to pouring into people who only notice you when you stop. Choose yourself this time. Protect your energy. Move differently. Let your presence be felt, but not easily accessed. Let people meet you where you are, instead of lowering yourself to where they're comfortable. And if this message felt a little too real, if it made you pause, think, or even feel something, then take that as your sign. It's time to stop being available for people who only value you in your absence, and start becoming someone who is valued even in your presence.